Hello everyone, this is Eliango's Custom, and for this video we are making a review on my Marvel Legends comic accurate super articulated Spider-CARNAGE. And this took me a while to make, really took me a while to make, took me 2 months to complete it. And here we have the complete figure finally. You can see here we have the effects and everything that it includes. Here we have the smoke effect that you can put and you can get it off. You can see here that it's just a piece of cotton with wire in it, so you can adjust it and put it back on it. You just put the piece on the mouth and it stays. I prefer to put it in the side, but I mean in the side of the head. Here we have the figure itself. So as you can see, it's based on the retro Spider-Man book. This is exactly the Ben Reilly Spider-Man, and I modified it so it has more articulation. As a matter of fact, this is the most articulated Marvel Legends, well, the most modern articulated Spider-Man figure, or any figure in general. You can see it has a ball joint, a double ball joint on the head. I remade it so the both balls meet on the top, and well, it doesn't create a gap or it doesn't look bad while you're posing it. Both of the balls are adjusted so it can move, as well as a ball joint that it has on the base of the neck. And as you saw there, you can move it back and forth, or you can go side to side. It doesn't go too much side to side because, well, that's how I made it. The main range is from the top ball joint, and as you can see that here we have the single ball joint on the torso, and I added another ball joint on the top of the torso so you can adjust the figure while you're posing it. Now you can adjust it so it doesn't create a gap, or you can have a gap. Here you can see I can go back and then adjust it, and then here I modified the shoulders too, so it doesn't look as crappy and weird as it used to be. So I resculpted the whole shoulder part, and I made it butterfly joints a little bit deeper so it can accommodate to the shoulders. I also modified the elbows and the knees so it makes for more range of motion, while the sculpt doesn't interfere. As you can see, you can go all the way, or depending how you adjust it, you can go all the way back. And well, here we have the all the way back. I adjusted the whole articulation in general, so you have here the pinless joints. The pinless joints weren't as difficult as I thought that they will be. Mostly because it's just resculpting over the joints that already exist. So yeah, it doesn't have those ugly joints. Also, it has pinless toe joints. That's another thing that I made. It's not from the Renew Your Vows pack. It's made from scratch. Well, I mean, the feet are just the regular feet, but it's modified so it can have the toe joints. And I also made the legs go all the way on the splits. I modified them by cutting the some parts of the hips. It still has that drop down feature, and well, yeah, it's what you would expect for a Spider-Man figure. Well, at least what I would expect for a Spider-Man figure to have. And yeah, this is the parts of the figure that I modified. And it has more accessories. It has other hands that it already came with the figure. So the walk running hands became the clawed hands. The fisted hands stayed as fisted hands. I didn't modify them. I didn't add anything to them. The web shooting hands, the twipping hands, became pointing hands, as it still works as a twipping hand thingy. And as you can see, it has the same detail that the blue portions of the suit has. It's a blue, well, it's a black face and a glossy black face um, with a dry brush of metallic blue. Here's a pointing hand. If you remember, Steve Ditko, or I don't know which artist, used to draw Spider-Man shooting the webs with pointing fingers, and that's very common for, well, it's not that common, but it was common for the 60s and the 70s in the Spider-Carnage comics. Well, in the ones that he appeared, he he was shown in a panel shooting webs like in a pointing gesture, and I have the the webs for it, as you can see in the front. What you see in the back is symbiote effects for the figure to snap on. They're bendy, they're all bendy, uh, both the webs and the symbiote effects. Uh, and I have the, well, it's the Mark Bagley. Don't don't get messed up about it. It's a Mark Bagley Spider-Man head. As you can see, it has a matte finish on the red and a glossy finish on the lenses. Also in the outlines of the eye lenses. I applied the matte finish all over the body that has the red portions, and everything else it's a gloss finish. I masked the parts that didn't need that matte finish with silly putty. I watched that tutorial before. I don't know where. I think it was from YouTube, or I don't know if it was from Action Fear Toronto. I don't remember, but it was that was the well, the way that I made it. So yeah, the matte finish and the gloss finish, they're both on the figure. Most of the figure is just gloss finish. Actually, behind the matte finish, there's the gloss finish. Then I masked it, and well, the rest is history. Um, well, what else? What else do we have to? Well, the feet still has a back hole, so if you want to plug it in a figure stand, or well, in those clunky Hasbro stands, you can. Well, here's a close up of the bendy. Here, the bendy symbiote effects. And as I already told you guys, these are snappable on the figure. So if you want to snap them on the figure, you can, and if you don't want them, you can just get them off. They don't affect anything on the figure. I coated the parts that make contact with the figure with super glue so it doesn't make friction. It's like when you make an articulation, you make the point of articulation with a different kind of plastic that it's not as well, that doesn't permit the same friction. And the same was made for these web effects. The web effects and the symbiote effects are coated with a gloss finish, and the rings that connect to the hands itself are coated with super glue, so as I said, doesn't make friction or doesn't get unpainted or roughed off. And the tips of the webs are made in a separate way because in the comics, well, in one of the comics, they appear with this style of this style of effect, and it will look really cool, so I wanted to capture that. And it was very wild for the 90s were really wild and everything. So yeah, this is symbiote veins. As you can see, some parts are sculpted and the parts that are on the sides of the boots are not, because, well, I didn't decide if I was going to put the red portions of the suit because two of the representations didn't have them and one of them did, so I went as for the Mark Bagley style overall. This is my style of his style, so yeah, I'm gonna show you my articulation range. So it has a double ball joint, as I already mentioned. It has a double ball joint on the neck, on the top of the neck, so it can go all the way up if you want. I'll show you how it's done. You can go all the way just on as the neck, and I got rid of the slit that it already had. The Spider-Man retro body had, so it can go all the way up, and using the double ball joint and the ball joint in the neck, you can go up and you can go all the way down if you want. That's something that the original figure couldn't do, and I modified it so it can go all the way on everything you want. You can go tilt side to side on a complete tilt, go sideways, go tilting all the way, and it allows for a very dynamic posing. And as you can see, it doesn't create a gap that the original buck is known for having. You can replace the head with the Mark Bagley head. You can go all the way up with the Mark Bagley too. And you can see it doesn't create that gap that used to look like a trash bin. And you can go down and it doesn't create a gap either. It does create a small gap, but it's not as noticeable as the original buck had. And you can readjust it so it doesn't look like crap. And I know this head might look smaller to this figure because I modified the shoulders and the proportions go, well, it goes very crazy. Also, I modified the head so it looked more like Bagley style. I sanded the chin and part of the mouth so it makes that shape that it makes from a sideways view. And here you can see it has a torso that it can be readjustable so it doesn't make a gap. You can either go down or up. You can go sideways too, and I didn't modify any about it. You can see it makes like a 360 movement, but each time that you modify any torso articulation or anything, you have to imagine like there's a sphere around, and you imagine the center of the sphere, and that's the point that where the ball is going to sit inside of the body. So when you put it back on, you can see that it has the same articulation as it already had, but you can readjust the whole torso so it doesn't create a gap, and you can make a gap if you want. So let's say you go forward and you can readjust it, but it creates like a small bump, and that was unavoidable because part of the sculpt was made like that. So I wanted to keep some of the sculpt the same as it was, so it doesn't look that different from the original concept. Here we have the complete splits. I don't know if you can achieve all the way of the splits with this figure, because part of it's limited because of the hips, and I didn't want to destroy the hips or well cut too much of it, so it can still have the same aesthetics and the same concept of the figure as I already mentioned. It still has the drop down feature, and I also modified the range of the knees and the range of the elbows. Finally, this is my video. Hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and mind that this is my first video. I know my camera sucks and my lighting sucks, so I hope I get better in the future to make this kind of videos and everything. I'll be posting tutorials on how to make this kind of articulations, and anything that you might wish to see, just post it on the comments, and I'll consider making a video. Maybe I'll do, maybe I'll not, but I make my best, so there's a video about it. So yeah, this is my Spider-Carnage, and so yeah, this is Eliango's custom again. And if you want to see my Instagram, just go on the link. I put it on the side of the video, on the corner of the video, and yeah. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.